Hi everyone, I was going to do a video yesterday on this, but there was something that happened that was more important in Yemen, and that's this, when that Saudi missile killed all those children who were in that bus that they targeted, and called they called that a legitimate target, by the way. If that's a legitimate target, are there any illegitimate targets? Yeah, over 50 people now it is that have been killed, and over 30 of them, I think, have been children. There's a video on my timeline that I retweeted that Carla Ortiz had actually retweeted, and it's by Mint Press News. If you can stomach it, it's very graphic. Go and watch it. I can't show it here. Yeah, go and watch it, and then compare it to the video that was done by the White Helmets in Syria a few months ago when the kids were having water on their head, and realise that that video where the kids had water put on their head led to 3 countries bombing Syria. And that video by Mint Press News, which really shows something horrific happened that the UK and the US were complicit in, and the Saudis did. You got to ask yourself, why just on that, but not this? Why is something happening swiftly, straight away there without evidence in Syria, but it's really hypocritical. This is the report I wanted to get to yesterday, though. And this was bad enough before what happened yesterday. It's from the AP. Unite with the devil. Yemen war binds US allies Al-Qaeda. So I'm not going to read all this article, but I'm just going to read a few paragraphs so you get the idea. I'll leave a link to the full article down below. Please go and read it. It's an eye-opener. It really is. Okay, Yemen, AP. Again and again over the past 2 years, a military coalition led by Saudi Arabia and backed by the United States and the UK, by the way, has claimed it won decisive victories that drove Al-Qaeda militants from their strongholds across Yemen and shattered their ability to attack the West. Great, wonderful, if that's true. Here's what the victors did not disclose. Many of their conquests came out without firing a shot. That's because the coalition cut secret deals with Al-Qaeda fighters, paying some to leave key cities and towns and letting others retreat with weapons, equipment and wads of looted cash. An investigation by the Association Press has found hundreds more were recruited to join the coalition itself. They're actually recruiting Al-Qaeda members who were of Al-Qaeda 5 minutes ago into the army that the US and the UK are supporting. To anybody who is a regular viewer of my channel or channels like it, they won't be surprised with this, but anybody listening to it in the first time, trust me, this is the fact. These are the facts. These are the things that you won't hear on the mainstream media. These compromises and alliances have allowed Al-Qaeda militants to survive to fight another day and risk strengthening the most dangerous branch of the terror network that carried out the 9/11 attacks. Key participants in the pact said the US was aware of the arrangements and held off on any drone strikes. Wonderful. Yeah, we're not going to kill these Al-Qaeda members. We're going to go and let you try and recruit them first. Wonderful. The deals uncovered by the AP reflect the contradictory interests of the two wars being waged simultaneously in this southwestern corner of the Arabian Peninsula. In one conflict, the US is working with its Arab allies, particularly in the UAE, with the aim of eliminating the branch of extremists known as Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, or ACAP. I'm just going to call them Al-Qaeda because that's what they are. But the larger mission to win the civil war against the civil war against the Houthis, Iranian-backed Shiite rebels, and in that fight, Al-Qaeda militants are effectively on the same side as the Saudi-led coalition, and by extension, the United States. Exactly. It gets worse, though. Elements of the US military, quote, elements of the US military are clearly aware that much of what the US is doing in Yemen is aiding Al-Qaeda, and there is much angst about that, said Michael Hutton, a fellow at the Jamestown Foundation, a US analysis group that tracks terrorism. However, supporting the UAE and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia against what the US views as Iranian expansionism takes priority over battling Al-Qaeda and even stabilizing Yemen. So what this is saying in the AP, what that said, Michael Horton said in that last paragraph, is it doesn't matter about these million Yemenis that have contracted cholera. It doesn't matter that it's the largest humanitarian crisis in the world. It doesn't matter that 600,000 children have contracted cholera. It doesn't matter about the tens of thousands of people that have been killed. It doesn't matter about the 8 million Yemenis who are currently in starvation mode. They are starving. And the 22 million Yemenis, which is the entire country, which is basically on the verge of starvation. Doesn't matter about all of that. It doesn't matter that we are fighting on the same side as Al-Qaeda. What really matters is the US wants to get rid of the Iranian government and install a puppet. That's basically what that is saying. It's when you start looking at it with a clear lens, it's frightening. Now, these are just clips from the article. It's a really long article. Like I say, go and read it. It's eye-opening. Coalition-backed militias actively recruit Al-Qaeda militants or those who were recently members because they're considered exceptional fighters, the AP found. Let's go and get the Al-Qaeda guys. They've put up a hell of a fight against us. Let's get them on our side. The coalition forces are comprised of a dizzying mix of militias, factions, tribal warlords and tribes with very local interests, and Al-Qaeda militants are intertwined with many of them. Yeah, there was a report, wasn't there, in Syria with these rebel fighters. 60% of them were jihadists, ex-Al-Qaeda and al-Nusra. And it's happening in Yemen. Surprise, surprise. One Yemeni commander who was put on the United States terrorism list for Al-Qaeda ties last year continues to receive money from the UAE to run its militia, his own aide told the AP. Another commander, recently granted $12 million for his fighting force by Yemen's president, has a known Al-Qaeda figure as his closest ally. These are the people we're supporting, and that's who boggles the mind, it really is. In one case, a tribal mediator who brokered a deal between the Emiratis and Al-Qaeda even gave the extremists a farewell dinner. I won't read any more of that article. Like I say, it's really long and there's so much in it. I could, if I took apart it and started talking, the video would be an hour long. Now, I said in the video yesterday that I did on Yemen about this horrific strike on this bus that was carrying the children. I remember when I was reading it, I remember thinking, what are they going to say? The Houthis were using these people as human shields like the Israelis do? Oh, the Palestinians or the people in Gaza are using, the Hamas are using those Palestinians as human shields. And they said it in that, in that report I showed. They actually said it. And obviously the logical step is that now, if it's anything like what happens in Gaza with Israel, then the Saudis are going to open an investigation into themselves. Yemen war, Saudis to probe airstrike child deaths. So they're going to investigate the war crime that they committed, and then their findings are no doubt going to be they didn't do it. Same as when Israel investigate their own crimes. It's a joke. Do you think the media are really giving you this? Of course they're not. They're not giving you this. I mean, the AP there have done a really good job. Do you think they're making a big deal out of it right now? Of course not. Chris Hayes did a 2-minute segment on Yemen. Well done, MSNBC. You did 2 minutes in almost 2 years on the war in Yemen. Congratulations. The segment was pretty good, by the way, but at no point did he mention any of this that I'm mentioning to you now. At no point. We've got to get the hell out of this war. We really have. Of all of them. Just get out. Get out of the wars. Get out of the style trying to destabilise countries. You've been doing it for decades, and all you've created is a trail of fucking destruction in countries like Iraq and Libya and God knows how many in the South America and elsewhere in the Middle East and in the world. This is what the media aren't telling you about the wars. They know all of this, but they're not telling the public. Because if the public knew this, if I had a big platform and could do this on a bigger platform, more people could see it, they would be outraged as well. The way you change a government's way of doing things is by popular opinion. So please, if you can, share the word about this. Share my videos wherever you can. If you can, support me on Patreon. You can do it for as little as $1 a month. I can't do it without your help. And thanks very much for your support. You know, keep trying to get the word out and keep trying to expose these wars for what they are. The money-making schemes for the military-industrial complex and, you know, the foreign countries who basically own the government in the US by the look of it. What it looks like to me. Yeah, that's it. Thanks very much for watching. Till next time. Peace. Take care.